Have you ever caught yourself feeling a little more tired than usual after climbing a flight of stairs? Or maybe you've wondered if those occasional flutters in your chest are something to pay attention to. As we age our way past 60, our hearts have been beating strong for decades, but they need a bit more care to keep us thriving. Heart health isn't just about avoiding problems. It's about living with energy, confidence, and the freedom to enjoy the things you love, whether that's playing with your grandkids, tending to your garden, or taking that dream trip you've been planning. The good news? You don't need to overhaul your entire life to make a big difference. Small, practical changes can go a long way in keeping your heart strong and helping you steer clear of heart attacks or other serious issues. I'm so glad you're here today because I want to walk you through 4 simple, actionable tips to protect your heart and keep it healthy for years to come. These aren't complicated medical advice or expensive treatments. They're everyday steps you can start doing right now. By the time we're done, you'll have a clear plan to feel more vibrant and confident about your heart health. So, grab a cup of tea, settle in, and let's dive into the first tip. Let's start with something you're already doing every day: eating. What you put on your plate has a huge impact on your heart, and one of the best things you can do is focus on foods that nourish it. Now, I'm not saying you need to give up your favorite treats or start cooking like a professional chef. Instead, think about adding more heart-friendly foods to your meals. Things like oats, berries, nuts, and leafy greens are packed with nutrients that help lower cholesterol, reduce blood pressure, and keep your arteries clear. For example, starting your day with a bowl of oatmeal topped with some blueberries can make a big difference. The fiber in oats helps sweep out bad cholesterol, while berries are loaded with antioxidants that protect your heart from damage. Let me tell you about my friend Linda, who's 68. A few years ago, she noticed she was feeling sluggish, and her doctor warned her about high cholesterol. Instead of jumping on medication right away, Linda decided to make some small changes. She swapped her usual buttered toast for oatmeal a few mornings a week and started snacking on almonds instead of chips. Within a few months, her cholesterol levels dropped, and she had more energy to keep up with her gardening. The key here is consistency, not perfection. You don't have to eat like a health guru every day, just aim to include these foods more often. Try adding a handful of spinach to your dinner or keeping a small bag of walnuts for a quick snack. These little choices add up, and your heart will thank you for it. Now, let's talk about something else you can do that doesn't involve food, but is just as important: staying active. I know, exercise might sound like a chore, especially if you're dealing with achy joints or haven't been active in a while. But here's the thing: you don't need to run marathons or hit the gym to keep your heart healthy. Even gentle, low-impact activities can make a huge difference. Walking, for instance, is one of the easiest and most effective ways to strengthen your heart. A brisk 20-minute walk around your neighborhood 5 days a week can lower your risk of heart disease by up to 30%. That's not just a number, it's a real chance to live longer and feel better. Think about someone like George, a 72-year-old I met at a community center. George used to spend most of his days sitting, watching television, and feeling his energy slip away. His doctor told him his blood pressure was creeping up and he needed to move more. George didn't want to join a gym, so he started walking to the park every morning. At first, it was just 10 minutes, but soon he was up to 30, chatting with neighbors along the way. Not only did his blood pressure improve, but he also felt more upbeat and even started sleeping better. The beauty of walking is that it's free. You can do it anywhere, and you can go at your own pace. If walking's not your thing, try chair yoga or gentle stretching at home. Anything that gets your blood flowing. The goal is to find something you enjoy so it doesn't feel like work. Maybe it's dancing to your favorite music or gardening. Whatever it is, aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate activity a week. Broken up, however, works for you. Before we move on, let me remind you why this matters. Every step you take, every heart-healthy bite you eat, is an investment in your future. You're not just avoiding heart attacks, you're building a life where you can stay active, independent, and full of joy. So, now that we've covered how to nourish your heart with food and keep it strong with movement, let's talk about another key piece of the puzzle: managing stress. Let's talk about stress, because if there's one thing that can sneak up and put pressure on your heart, It's those moments when life feels overwhelming. As we get older, stress can come from all sorts of places. Maybe it's worrying about family, finances, or even just the little aches and pains that pop up more often. But here's the thing. Chronic stress is like a heavy weight on your heart. It can raise your blood pressure, increase inflammation, and make it harder for your heart to do its job. The good news is, you have the power to manage stress in ways that are simple and even enjoyable. And that's our third tip for keeping your heart healthy. One of the easiest ways to melt stress away is by finding moments of calm in your day. This doesn't mean you need to sit cross-legged and meditate for hours sunless. That's your thing, of course. It's about finding small practices that work for you. For example, deep breathing is something you can do anywhere, anytime. Try this. Take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 4, then breathe out through your mouth for 6. Do this for just a minute or two, and you'll feel your body start to relax. I learned this trick from my neighbor, Mrs. Hoa, who's 71. She used to get so worked up about her son's busy schedule, feeling like she wasn't helping enough. Her doctor suggested deep breathing, and now she does it every morning while sipping her coffee. She says it's like hitting a reset button for her mind and her heart. Another great way to manage stress is to carve out time for things that make you happy. Maybe it's reading a good book, listening to music, or even chatting with a friend over a cup of tea. These moments aren't just nice, they're medicine for your heart. Think about what lights you up. For my Uncle Min, who's 65, it's tending to his small vegetable garden. He says digging in the dirt and watching his plants grow makes all his worries slip away. Even if you only have 10 minutes a day, spend it on something that brings you joy. It could be as simple as sitting outside and listening to the birds. These little breaks lower your stress hormones and give your heart a chance to rest. Now, let's move on to our fourth tip, which is all about staying on top of your health with regular checkups. I know visiting the doctor might not be your favorite thing to do. Nobody loves sitting in a waiting room, but these appointments are like a tune-up for your heart. Regular checkups help catch potential issues early before they turn into something serious like a heart attack. Things like high blood pressure or high cholesterol often don't have obvious symptoms, so getting your numbers checked is crucial. At least once a year, make sure your doctor checks your blood pressure, cholesterol levels, and discusses any medications you're taking. Let me share a story about Mr. Tuan, a 69-year-old family friend. A few years back, he was feeling phenomenal chest pain, no major complaints. But during a routine checkup, his doctor noticed his blood pressure was higher than it should be. They made a plan to adjust his diet and add a low-dose medication. That small catch likely saved him from a heart attack down the road. Tuan now sees his doctor every 6 months, and he's grateful for it. The key is to be proactive. If you haven't had a checkup in a while, make that appointment. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Bring a list if it helps. Ask about your heart health, what your numbers mean, and if there's anything specific you should focus on. This isn't about being scared. It's about taking control so you can keep doing the things you love. Another part of staying on top of your health is paying attention to warning signs. If you ever feel chest pain, shortness of breath, or unusual fatigue, don't brush it off as just getting older. These could be signals from your heart, and getting them checked out quickly can make all the difference. I remember my Aunt Lynn, who's 67. She ignored some tightness in her chest for weeks, thinking it was just stress. When she finally saw her doctor, they found a minor issue that was easily treated, but it could have been much worse. Trust your body and speak up if something feels off. Your heart deserves that attention. As we wrap up this part, think about how these steps managing stress and staying proactive with your health are like gifts you're giving yourself. They're not about fear or restriction. They're about building a life where you feel strong, calm, and ready for whatever comes next. Let's keep going and tie all these tips together to make sure your heart stays as vibrant as you are. All right, we've talked about nourishing your heart with the right foods, keeping it strong with gentle movement, and easing the burden of stress. These steps are like building a sturdy foundation for your heart. But now let's bring it all together and make sure you're equipped to keep your heart beating strong for years to come. What I love about these tips is that they're not about making drastic changes or giving up the things you enjoy. They're about small, intentional choices that add up to a healthier, happier you. So, let's wrap up with a focus on how to make these habits stick and why they matter so much for your life after 60. Let's revisit those heart-healthy foods for a moment, because it's not just about what you eat, it's about making it a natural part of your routine. One way to do this is to plan ahead just a little. For example, keep a few go-to ingredients in your kitchen, like canned salmon for a quick salad or frozen berries for a smoothie. My cousin Inga, who's 66, started keeping a bowl of mixed nuts on her kitchen counter. Whenever she's tempted to grab something less healthy, she reaches for a handful of almonds instead. It's become so automatic for her that she doesn't even think about it anymore. Try picking one meal a day to focus on heart-healthy choices. Maybe it's breakfast with oats or dinner with extra veggies. Over time, these choices become second nature, and your heart reaps the benefits without it feeling like a chore. When it comes to staying active, the key is to make movement a joyful part of your day. If walking feels repetitive, mix it up. Maybe one day you walk with a friend, another day you try a gentle dance video at home, or you spend time gardening. My neighbor Mr. Huang, who's 70, found a local Tai Chi class at the community center. At first, he was hesitant. They thought it might be too hard for him. But after a few sessions, he was hooked. He says the slow, flowing movements not only help his heart but also make him feel calm and centered. The point is to find something that feels good for you. Even if it's just stretching while watching your favorite show, it's a step toward a stronger heart. Aim for consistency, not perfection. 5 days a week of something you enjoy will do wonders. Now, let's touch on stress again, because it's not a one-and-done fix. Life throws curveballs, and keeping stress in check is an ongoing practice. One thing that's helped a lot of people is setting aside a few minutes each day for gratitude. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Try writing down 1 or 2 things you're thankful for each evening. Maybe it's a kind word from a friend or a beautiful sunset you noticed. My friend Mrs. Mai, who's 73, keeps a small notebook by her bed. She says jotting down these moments helps her focus on the good, even on tough days. This habit doesn't just lift your mood, it lowers stress hormones that can strain your heart. Pair this with those deep breathing exercises we talked about, and you've got a toolbox for staying calm no matter what comes your way. As for those checkups, think of them as your heart's regular maintenance. After your appointment, take a moment to review what your doctor said. Maybe write down your blood pressure or cholesterol numbers so you can track them over time. And if your doctor suggests a change, like a new medication or cutting back on salt, give it a fair try. I know it can feel overwhelming, but small adjustments can make a big difference. My Uncle Bin, who's 68, was prescribed a low-dose blood pressure medication last year. He was skeptical at first, but after a few months, he noticed he had more energy and fewer headaches. He still goes for his morning walks and eats his veggies, but the medication gave his heart that extra support it needed. Your doctor is your partner in this. Work with them to find what fits your life. As we close out, I want you to know that these 4 tips: eating heart-healthy foods, staying active, managing stress, and keeping up with checkups are like pieces of a puzzle that come together to create a vibrant, healthy life. You're not doing this to avoid something scary. You're doing it to live fully, to have the energy to chase your passions, whether that's traveling, spending time with family, or simply enjoying a quiet morning with a good book. Every small step you take is a victory, a way to show yourself and your loved ones that you're here to thrive. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one heart-healthy habit you're already doing? Or one you're excited to try? Your story might inspire someone else watching this video. If you found these tips helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more ways to live your best life. Here's to a strong heart and a joyful journey ahead. Let's keep taking care of ourselves, because we deserve it.